Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Hamilton. I am back here again with my Escape Simulator level. From the last time, I have, for the most part, finished up this little section that I have been showing off for the past couple weeks. I want to leave it alone for now and just focus on the other levels that I am making, primarily because I don't want to immediately put full attention to the set design until I know the limits of this engine. I don't fully know. I'm still pretty new to it, and that's going to be evident by me figuring out how to work the system, which I will be getting into in a moment. But for right now, this little section is done until I go into further playtesting and have people try it out, even more people, and try to get as much feedback as I can. I have put a little bit of attention into this. I have ultimately been using this week to learn a bit more about what I can use with the editor, such as like the actual like capabilities and creating the overall systems. I will be going in and explaining this mess along with where to go? There it is. This right here. It's a little lighter and all that. But I have ultimately what I've just been doing this week is like making the level but backwards. So basically, the end points are finished. It is. I just need to go through and actually make how the players will start out, like creating those puzzles and all that, and setting those up, and then going through with some set design to make it all nice and pretty. But basically, just for a recap of what's going on, basically, players will go through. They start off in this little Egyptian center or Egyptian area right here and do all of those puzzles, and then go back to the teleporter where they'll, story wise, they will start having mishaps in the teleporter, which will send them back into the incorrect timeline or the time machine, and they'll get sent into this little jail area in which they have to then break out, and along the way they find a part where that will help them fix. But however, it's not enough as they will be teleported into another area that I have yet to create. So right now it's just these two. But if we get started, I do want to show just a little bit of what I've created. So I have set up some of the room. I have made sure that these doors are locked. This little thing right here is a little platform that I am trying to experiment with. I wanted to be able to make it to where once this player is out, because this player will get out first. These little tools will be hidden around, and it will allow them to essentially pick the lock. And then the door will open. There'll also be like a little thing right here, a zoom in chest where they can unlock. There's nothing in it right now. So right now I just was trying to set up on how to make it to where the player can zoom in right here and then set up the lock system. Once we do that, player can then come up here, do one more puzzle which will allow them to grab this piece of dynamite as well as this lighter. Now, I had to set up this lighter a bit because it was very weird. It's very finicky. There still is some stuff that's like confusing when it comes to this editor. For example, this lighter right here, there's not really any other details or any other objects to mess with, so I ended up having to put in my own button. So once you click it, it then will activate the lighter. Once you activate that little sphere right there. Sorry. You click it again, and then it takes the flame out. That was a bit tricky to set up because of how. Let me see. I'll explain just a little bit. This overall junction right here is a bit tricky to set up because, as I mentioned, there's not really additional parts to the lighter. I had to go through and place in that little black circle, that one right there, as well as put in this effect. And the effects are very limited. and what they can and how they interact with the scripts and all that. So I had to use this thing, and I learned what these were. They're visibility activators. Basically, what they can be used for is when they're triggered, they can make certain objects or maybe special effects appear or disappear. And I had to do that to link it up with this little button. And overall, I put in this trigger right here for the puzzle that I will be showing once again. So once I unlock this, grab the stick of dynamite, open the lighter, and if I bring the dynamite over here to the door and then place it, have it lit, and then it'll just blow open the door. Now that whole thing was it was interesting to set up. It was like solving a puzzle in a puzzle solving game without actually playing the puzzle solving game. I was solving the puzzle just to make the puzzle overall. So basically what happened is there's this huge area right here full of stuff. And what it is it's full of slots. So these visibility activators that all link up to different parts. So like this one will link up to this slot right here. This one will link up to the actual dynamite. So basically once the animation goes and the explosion happens, the dynamite disappears. This one links up to this little spark, which the spark is connected to this empty slot because I couldn't connect like an actual animation. Oh, I could, but it was very weird to connect or make the animation go with these visibility activators. So I had to hook it up to this right here. And all of this is very hard to explain. I do apologize. But essentially, what happens is, with this stick of dynamite, I had to set it up to where you place it onto the door. And I wanted it to where the lighter can only be active, like you can only place the lighter against the fuse once it's against the door. So that's what this is right here. I also then had to make it to where the lighter can only light the fuse if it's lit. And obviously how a standard lighter goes, you can't really light a fuse if it's not lit. So that's where this trigger comes into play. So actually, I could just move the spawn point out here, make it a lot faster. So essentially, if I just place this here, and if I try to light the lighter or try to light it, it's not going to do anything unless it's lit. So I had to hook up this. It was weird because initially I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I wanted to like put the trigger right here and try to make it to where the trigger activates once it comes into contact with this right here, with the flame. However, it won't do that. Like, it doesn't connect with the actual special effects themselves. So I stumbled a bit until I figured out that I could just connect the trigger right here, or have a child, or yeah, basically a child, which is like connecting, and it is moving with the lighter. So basically have it as a child for the lighter, have it connect with the visibility activator, which is the same for the flame. So once the flame turns on, this trigger box turns on. Once it turns off, so there's a trigger box. And once the trigger box is on, so along with the flame, and it senses the stick of dynamite, that's when it activates all of this, and then it goes through the entire process and essentially blows open the door. And it's all just basically back and forth with all of these, trying to get it to look just right as like an actual explosion would. And it was very it was as weird to set up as it is to explain. Even more so because I haven't actually went into how these things hook up. But I also went into... So basically... did a couple things where... After this section's open, I added in a flux capacitor, which, for those of you who know what it's referencing, yeah. For those who don't, I'd recommend Back to the Future. But you pick that up, that's going to be hidden away, and you bring this over to the broken flux capacitor, take that off, and replace it with the new one, and it activates the button, which will then bring you over to the next area. But overall, I did just a couple things. I was overall just experimenting with what I'm capable of with this engine this week, instead of actually like setting up a lot of the puzzles. I was like spending a lot of my time trying to figure out how to set up certain things. And overall, I am proud with what I have, and I do, obviously I'm going to be adding more. But same with this key in this lock. I was trying to figure out how to set up the make the box draggable while at the same time having a key and lock system. But overall, that's what I have so far. Oh, one more thing. I have this chalkboard set up right here because I do want to have a puzzle to where this player right here would need like a code to activate something. However, the codes will be drawn up along the walls. However, they can't see this one, so they'll need the assistance of the player to basically look at that code and relay what information they need. So that's why I have this set up right here for the players, and I will be setting that up within this next week. But that's all I have for this. Until the next update, thank you for watching.